Every human being eventually arrives at a crossroads, a season where the life they constructed with their own hands no longer fits the person that they're becoming. The tension during that time is very subtle at first, a quiet dissatisfaction, a fatigue that sleep cannot fix, a restlessness that no achievement can silence. Eventually, it grows loud. The schedule feels too tight. The identity feels too small. The relationships feel mismatched. The responsibilities feel heavier than they should. And the soul whispers, something is wrong. Something is missing. But nothing is missing. Something is simply awakening. Join me now as we prepare to go further in this discussion regarding Realm 3. Why you must become the assignment. Well, praise the Lord and good morning. We are back, Foundations with Finace, and I am excited about today's exchange because I know that what the Lord has prepared is going to draw some of you nearer to the discovery of you. Oh, I got it wrong. The discovery of your assignment. No, still didn't get it right. The discovery of you in your assignment. And when you get in that place, I'm telling you now, there's a refinement that's going to happen that life can't stop, because now life becomes something that unveils itself to you in a way that becomes more meaningful. And all of a sudden now, you become the purposeful person that God has intended for you to be all along. Today is very important that we get this, because I was looking over my notes and I discovered that, contrary to popular belief, chaos does not come to destroy us. It comes to expose us. Won't you write that down in the chat to begin? Chaos. Some of you right now, I can sense there's some form of chaos that's happening in your life. I don't know. You lost rhythm. You lost touch. Things don't seem to mean the same. Your leverages are seemingly dissipating. All of a sudden now, doors are closing. It seems like all of a sudden people are walking away from you. Opportunities are not being made available as they once did. But notice now, just because there is a form of chaos where you've lost form and there's darkness and there's deep and there's this quest to be, but the farther you get into the exploration of you, the more difficult it's become for you to understand what's happening to you. And so this chaos is not set in our lives to destroy us. It comes to expose us. What do you mean, Bishop? Well, tension does not arrive to break us. It arrives to reveal the hidden fractures that we've ignored long before we felt these fractures. Here's what I learned. Most people misunderstand this sacred moment. They call it burnout. Some of you may call it depression. Some of you may even call it anxiety, midlife crisis, spiritual warfare, or even emotional collapse. But what you are really experiencing is misalignment. I'm telling you right now, misalignment. It's the collision between the person that you pretend to be and the person that you were born to become. So I want you, before I go any further, to write in the chat, Bishop gave me a license to no longer pretend. I know some of you are going to hesitate to write that, but write in the chat, Bishop has given us license to no longer pretend. I have a license to no longer pretend. I will no longer pretend. I don't have to ever pretend again being me, because I'm beginning to discover already that the problem of me is the misalignment of me. I'm misaligned, and all of a sudden I'm beginning to see that I don't have to keep pretending to be a person, because there is a significant person that God has crafted for me to become. So this collision is not accidental. It is necessary. It's divine. I want you to write in the chat, this collision I'm enduring or this collision I'm encountering, watch this, are these moments of derision or these times of suspicion where this season of despair, I'm discovering now it's divine because it's necessary. It's not accidental because people rarely change while comfort is an option. And what's happening in your life, comfort, the rug of comfort is being pulled out from under you so that God can help you discover you. And so life, with its strange mercy, removes the illusion of safety just long enough for the truth to surface. And that's what is happening today. I want you to really get this today because as we explore this topic about the assignment, I need you to see here that you've got to start examining yourself. You got to start paying attention to what's happening in your personal life. Now, here's something I also want to share with you because you're in a season where God is trying to reconcile your life, and what you got to do is learn how to follow this tension until it tells the truth. Stop avoiding it. What you've done in the past, every time people walked away, every time seasons became strange, every time disappointment upon disappointment was layered, every time your hope got up and then they were let down, every time. Now you're getting ready to see that this is the season of me, and God has allowed me to wander into it that because it provides a sort of tension that wants to tell me the truth. This time, I'm not going to try to make excuses for it. This time, I'm not going to try to avoid it. This time, I'm not going to pretend it doesn't exist. This time, I'm literally going to stay with this tension until it tells me the truth. Now, why would Bishop suggest that you do this before I get back into the lesson? See, I spent years observing human beings, not merely their actions, pay attention now, but the architecture behind their actions. I watch people defend what destroys them, protect what imprisons them, and cling to the habits that slowly suffocate their becoming. I've watched gifted people rise while their character sinks. I watch loved people feel unloved because their belonging was counterfeit. I watch spiritual people fight natural battles with supernatural weapons they never learned to hold. And I've learned this: nobody escapes the hierarchy of needs. Nobody, none of us, absolutely none of us at all. We all begin with having. We grow through doing. We mature into being. And every crisis in life is simply the collapse of a shaky foundation, a need unmet, a wound unspoken, a truth unseen. I can hear that now. Yes, I'll say it again. Somebody said, Bishop, would you repeat that again? Here's something I learned that I want you to write down in the chat right now. Write this in the chat for me. I've learned that nobody escapes the hierarchy of needs. Now, when I said that, first of all, I want you to write, we all begin with having. We all begin with having. We all begin with having. We grow through doing. We all grow through doing. We begin with having. We grow through doing, and we mature into being. We mature into being. We're like the caterpillar becoming the butterfly. We're like the tadpole becoming the frog. Come on now. You got to get this, because in every crisis in life is simply the collapse of a shaky foundation. Why do we call it a shaky foundation? Because these crises are designed to help us discover a need unmet, a wound unspoken, and a truth unseen. This is critical today, because as we journey into today's lesson, I want you to understand that even though you're in this quest and life seems to be like a maze to some of you, you are right on the brink of discovery, because God has you right where you need to to be. And so I need you to understand here that every person eventually reaches this moment when the outer life collapses just enough to reveal the inner life that they avoided. That's what happened to me. My outer life, all of the things that I thought were significant, necessary, important, priority, things that I had to have, things I had to do, all of these things all of a sudden became suspect. And now in the chaos of my existence, or the chaotic interpretation of my belonging, I found myself in this situation where all of a sudden it appeared that in these moments my outer life was collapsing just enough to reveal the inner life that I had been trying to avoid. And that for me, my friends, this became a moment that was not punishment, it was an invitation. Here's what it became. It was an invitation to examine me. You may need to use this moment in your life as an invitation to examine. Second, it became an invitation to challenge my assumptions about me. Yeah, you got some assumptions, you just never dealt with them before. That's why that tension is there. You're pretending that 10, 10, 10. Let's turn that pretend into tension that tells the truth. Here, this is an invitation for you to examine, just as it was for me. It's an invitation to challenge your assumptions, just as it was for me. And it's an invitation for you to grow, just as it was for me. But more so than anything else, it became an invitation to reconcile. To reconcile what, Bishop? To reconcile your life. Because maturity, as Maslow said, is never a destination, it's a process. Why don't you write that down? Maturity is never a destination, it's a process. Maturity is never a destination, it's a process. A becoming, it's a gradual ascent from surviving to striving to being. And like all journeys of the soul, the path upward begins with one terrifying truth. You know what that is? Please write this down. You cannot become who you were created to be until you confront who you became while you were trying to survive. Oh boy, I'm telling you right now, you got to get this today, because I need you to understand that this series of lessons are designed to bring you to this bridge called tension. And on this bridge, you're going to decide whether or not you're going to cross it this time. You placated the reality of the self long enough, and you have accepted pretending because for some reason you needed other people to believe. You needed other situations to think. You needed people and those in your environment to think something about you, to believe something about you that you didn't even believe yourself. And you discovered that lying down night after night, getting up every morning, facing someone in the mirror that has been pretending, but is not really the it that you put before people, has not gotten the job of done, especially the job of giving you for personal fulfillment. And remember what I said, whenever you start in your true assignment, fulfilling your purpose, God gets the glory and you get the benefit. Here, what I just said is simply this. I said something that Maslow recorded many years ago. He said, maturity is never a destination, it's a process. You can attribute that to him. Maslow said, maturity is never a destination, it's a process. Now let me go back to my words. But it's a becoming. It's a gradual ascent from surviving to striving to being. So you go from here, a gradual ascent from surviving to striving to being. And like all journeys of the soul, the path upward begins with one terrifying truth. Now, this is a statement I want everybody that's on the chat with me to write down. And if you visit this chat later on, here's how I'll know that you paid attention. You write this down and you pay attention to it and you meditate on it, because you're going to need this to help you in your plight as you pursue becoming your assignment. You cannot become, write this, you cannot become who you were created to be. You cannot become who you were created to be. You cannot become who you were created to be. You cannot become who you were created to be until you confront who you became trying to survive. I watch a lot of precious souls wearing the garments of survival. They don't even realize that they are walking in the garments of survival. And here's what I mean. The life that they had to be in order to get through the skirmishes that once dawned their life. The things that were perplexing, those times, those seasons where it seemed like if you didn't make up your mind to do a certain series of things, you would not get through. Well, now that you have survived that, you got to pull off survival garments. That's what I'm talking about. Because you cannot become who you were created to be until you confront who you became trying to survive. You cannot become who you were created to be until you confront who you became trying to survive. So walk with me now into the quiet corners of these situations where you might have to encounter a little bit of disguises of pain. And I need you to see how your needs rise and watch how illusions break and watch how truth strips away your defenses and watch how grace meets you at your lowest unmet need. And watch this, above all else, how reconciliation begins not with answers, but with honesty. Because in the end, reconciling your life is nothing more and nothing less than reconciling the soul that lives that life. And so what I'm trying to say to you right now is simply this. In the process of becoming your assignment, you're going to have to be reconciled, to the triunity of the self by priority. Here we go. You are a spirit, you have a soul, you live in a body. How often do you prioritize your spirit? If you don't prioritize your spirit, you do not prioritize your essence. If you do not prioritize your essence, then you live beneath the privilege of your heritage. If you live beneath the privilege of your heritage, the thing that I need you to understand that's happening in your life is that you're not challenging yourself through the tension. You're not dealing with this challenge for what life is supposed to be because you are refusing to be honest with yourself about yourself. And so what Bishop has made it a point to do is get you to a place where you finally realize that you're not going to enjoy you until you tap into the who God created you to become in him. For it is in him that we move, live, and have our being. This is why the Apostle Paul said in Colossians chapter 3 and verse 1, if then you have been risen with Christ, seek those things which are above where Christ is seated at the right hand of the Father. Set your affections on things above, your thoughts and your feelings on things above, not on things beneath, for you are dead and your life, your new life is hid with Christ in God. What you got to understand today, friends, is that every human being eventually arrives at this crossroads in life, as I alluded to earlier. A season where the life that you constructed with your own hands no longer fits the person that you're trying to become. The tension is subtle at first. It's a quiet dissatisfaction. It's a fatigue that sleep cannot fix. It's a restlessness that no achievement can silence. Eventually, it grows loud. The schedule feels too tight. The identity feels too small. The relationship feels mismatched. Some of you dealing with that right now. The schedule feels too tight. The identity feels too small. It's not you anymore. You've grown out of that. The relationships feel mismatched. They don't bring the comfort. They don't bring the peace. They don't bring the pleasure. They don't bring the joy they once brought. The responsibilities feel heavier than they should. And the soul is whispering to you day after day and night after night, something is missing. You know what that is? Ain't nothing missing. Something is simply awakening in you. And contrary to popular belief, as I've already alluded to, Chaos does not come to destroy us. It comes to expose us. Where did it come from? Why is it here? How did it get here? What caused it? The word chaos simply means it became formless, dark, deep, obscure. You know what you allowed? These obscure, dark, deep areas of your life to invade it because of your dishonesty with the self. You tell others that you are living a satisfaction that you're simply not living yourself. And that's why you're going to have to start being honest here. Chaos doesn't come to destroy us. It comes to expose us. And this tension doesn't arrive to break us. It arrives to reveal the hidden fractures we ignored long before we felt them. And that's why I said earlier that most people misunderstand this sacred moment. Some of you're right now on the brink of what you call burnout. Some of you are dealing with what you call depression. Some of you call it anxiety, midlife crisis, spiritual warfare. Oh, the devil, the devil, the devil. Or emotional collapse. You feel like you're imploding. But what you are really experiencing right now in this moment is misalignment. Misalignment with your assignment. The collision between the person that you pretend to be and the person that you were born to become. And this collision is no accident. It was staged. It's necessary. It's a divine call to your essence. I'm telling you right now, it is so critical. It is so important. People rarely change while comfort is their option. And so life, with its strange mercy, it removes the illusion of safety just long enough for the truth to surface. And then we have to confront life from the perspective of self-honesty. Oh, I remember how miserable I was. I remember how dark and obscure my life was. I remember those days of pain. They were internal shame because now I'm looking at me in the mirror of me. As I would close my eyes, I would see my own frustrations. I would hear my own agitation. I would feel myself shrinking inside of myself because of all of these voided pockets I allowed to exist simply while I was pretending in the presence of others to be something that wasn't even required of me. And I never will forget the loneliness that crept inside simply because I was away from the truth about who lived in me. I'm a spirit. I have a soul. I live in a body, but I'm paying attention to my body, and my soul is in agreement, and I'm saying all the right things, and I'm doing all the right things, and I'm going all the right places, and I'm doing it at the expense of myself for the satisfaction of others. I was not fulfilling my purpose. I was acknowledging my pain. I was not fulfilling my purpose. I was living in the stay of my pain. And all of a sudden, my comfort stopped being an option. And life, with its strange mercy, started removing my illusion of safety. It's amazing how you can lie to yourself about yourself when no one else has the opportunity to question you about the self you're lying to. But the joy of God's goodness is when the Holy Spirit speaks candidly clear to you in such a definitive way. You no longer have to run from yourself. And I'm thinking now, Abraham found himself in a place of derision because he's caught between this gulf of becoming something that was a craving for him. But how do I become something that I see no definitive instructions for accomplishment of? I'm Abram, but he's telling me I'm Abraham. Is this a God, or is this something happening from within me? Because some of you, just like Abraham, probably thought this was a voice from within you about to drive you insane. And all of a sudden you found out that the pain it was causing, because when you looked at your reality from a natural perspective, all you saw was limits. All you saw was lack. All you saw was pain. All you saw was need. And unmet need started talking so loud until, in spite of what you didn't have, the one thing that your unmet need began to say to you is that you need to start being honest with you about you. And I'm telling you the secret right now. When the Bible says, blessed are they that are hungry and thirsty for righteousness, for they shall be filled. God's been waiting for you, Saul, all along. Just like he was waiting for Jacob to find himself by himself. And then here comes this ladder that's descended from heaven where the angels are going back and forth. And he wrestles with God, or an angel, dislocated his thigh. But he left with a limp, naming himself as the person that he was to become, Israel. I'm telling you now, he would give birth to 12 tribes. And what is it that God is saying to you now? Saul, Saul, why persecutest thou me? Seest thou that it is hard for thee to kick against the pricks? Don't you see how hard it is for you to go around here and just destroy souls at the expense of their existence just because they don't fit the bill of your expectation? These people are my people. Who are you? But someone that needs me the same way they do. Saul, why persecutest thou me? Seest thou that it is hard for thee to kick against the pricks? And here Saul now ends up to a street called straight. God, he meets the person that he's assigned to defeat, to destroy, to annihilate. And that person has his destiny in his mouth. He lays his hand on his head. His eyes come open. The scales fall off. And all of a sudden now, he meets preparation, meets purpose, and he becomes the person in the assignment that God has been trying to refine all along. I don't know what y'all are going through to get to this place I'm talking about, but you better hear this tension this time until it tells you the truth. And when you come out, I want you to not need one individual, watch this, to give you an acclaim to fame that's not your name. If it's not you, you don't need it no more. All you need to do is become this beautiful butterfly that God has crafted you to be. This is the last day of your crawl caterpillar. Go ahead, weave your cocoon, come on, weave your cocoon, and then force your way out of it in time. And when you come out, you're gonna be like R. Kelly once said, I believe I can fly. It's time for you to take flight in your assignment. God bless you. I want you to go in peace, but keep growing in grace through knowledge. And I will see you here tomorrow morning. We're going to get on into this realm 3, this thing about the assignment, because you got to become this thing so that you can walk in the fullness of God's heritage for your life. God bless you. I'll see you here in the morning. And hold on, tomorrow afternoon, no, today, listen, I'll be here. I will be here at 12:30. We're going to start something that you want to come. Those of you who are free, listen, bring your family, bring your friends. I'm telling you, we're going to be here for approximately 45 minutes to an hour. And I'm going to do something more like a masterclass to help people discover who they are in the process of becoming their assignment. God bless you. Here today, this day, Wednesday, come. And then some of you need to come out tonight, 7 p.m., because we have food and we're going to be feeding. We got the youth. I'm telling you, there's so many things that's going to be happening. In fact, look on the Crown site and you'll see all the things that we're offering that you can come and be a part of this Wednesday night during our Bible studies.